Welcome everyone to today's explainer. You know, growing older is an inevitable rule of life, but aging gracefully and staying truly healthy, well, that is a completely different story. Today, we're bringing you a super practical knowledge summary, basically a survival guide for those golden years. We're basing our whole journey on some incredibly detailed guidelines from the nutrition department at Tunpu General Hospital. Think of this explainer as your ultimate owner's manual for the aging body, giving you exactly what you need to ensure those twilight years are lived with absolute vitality and joy. Let's dive in.
The reality is, none of us can hit pause on the time machine. No one's figured out how to do that just yet. But here is the really fantastic news. We absolutely can control our quality of life right now. And how do we do that? Through daily nutrition. A perfectly calibrated diet isn't just some sturdy shield against disease. It's literally the golden key to keeping our spirits high, our energy up, and our bodies moving freely. Proper nutrition is what bridges the gap between simply getting older and actually aging well.
So to make this super actionable, here's our quick 5-part roadmap for today. Number 1, physical changes in aging. 2, general nutrition rules. 3, smart food choices. 4, daily maintenance. And 5, a practical application.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, physical changes in aging, or what I like to call the hardware update. Before we talk about the fuel, we really need to understand the machinery. It is wild when you look at the stark 180-degree flip in our internal composition as we age. At a vibrant 25 years old, our bodies are made up of about 62% water and only around 15% fat. But fast forward to 75 years old, the story flips entirely. Our internal water drastically drops down to just 53%, while our fat content skyrockets, literally doubling to 30%. On top of that, muscle mass shrinks significantly. Once you realize this profound internal shift is happening, it becomes incredibly obvious that an older adult simply cannot eat the exact same way they did in their 20s.
And, it's not just about the fat and water. The whole digestive engine slows way down and essentially goes on strike. Teeth weaken, saliva production drops, and most importantly, the stomach itself actually shrinks in size. Its ability to contract and secrete gastric juices takes a massive hit. That's exactly why older adults so often struggle with bloating, indigestion, and have a really hard time absorbing crucial nutrients like vitamin B12 and calcium. Oh, and let's not forget the respiratory system. The lungs shrink too, making oxygen exchange much harder, meaning even light physical exertion can leave you feeling completely exhausted and out of breath. There is a massive skeletal impact too. Have you ever wondered why people seem to literally shrink as they get older? Well, it's not a myth, because our spinal discs compress over time. An older adult can actually lose anywhere between 3 to 6 centimeters in height, sometimes even more if severe osteoporosis is in the mix. And this skeletal degeneration doesn't just cause pain, it drastically increases the risk of dangerous, painful falls. This is exactly why we need nutritional reinforcements to step in, right now. Okay, moving on to section 2, general nutrition rules. Let's talk about the new fuel formula. So how do we adopt our feeding strategies to match this changed machinery? First up is an absolute cornerstone principle, the 1/3 rule. It is a huge and honestly quite dangerous misconception to try and overfeed the elderly. Because they have less muscle mass and are generally less active, their bodies require a full 1/3 less energy than they did in their youth. If you just keep serving them those old, large portions, you're putting them at a severe risk for sudden weight gain, obesity, and a whole cascade of underlying metabolic diseases. Because that stomach has quite literally shrunk, we've got to follow 4 golden rules to assist the aging teeth and digestive tract. Number 1, always cook soft or minced foods. Don't overwork aging teeth. 2, always include a broth or a soup to make swallowing much easier. 3, eat just enough to feel satisfied. Absolutely do not overeat and overload that smaller stomach. And 4, never, ever skip meals. Consistent eating is totally required to keep blood sugar levels beautifully stable and avoid a dangerous crash. That brings us to section 3, smart food choices, or as I like to say, smart sourcing. Knowing how much to eat is step 1, but what exactly should we be putting on the plate? Choosing your carbohydrates requires some real strategy here. At this age, the pancreas is weakening and producing less insulin, which means the risk of developing diabetes is incredibly alarming, literally 8 to 10 times higher than in younger folks. So we absolutely must banish fast carbs, like white rice, sugary sweets, and sodas that cause massive blood sugar spikes. Instead, we've got to embrace slow carbs, things like brown rice, sweet potatoes, and oats. These ensure that blood sugar remains nice and stable after every single meal.
Now, I know a lot of older adults are absolutely terrified of fats because they worry about high cholesterol. But hold on a second. Do not fear fats. You simply cannot cross them off the menu. Unsaturated fats, particularly the omega-3s found in salmon and nuts, are incredibly vital for cardiovascular health. But more importantly, they act as mandatory transport vehicles in the body. Without these healthy fats, the aging body simply cannot absorb essential vitamins like A, D, E, and K. They are completely non-negotiable for a healthy system.
Here's a really tricky reality we have to talk about. Older adults rarely actually feel thirsty. The natural thirst mechanism just kind of fades away, but the body's demand for hydration absolutely does not. Hitting a daily target of 1.5 to 2 liters of water is absolutely critical. And when you combine the specific water intake with the fiber from those whole grains and vegetables we just talked about, boom, you've just created the perfect all-natural combo to stimulate sluggish bowels and completely cure chronic constipation. All right, let's shift to section 4, daily maintenance, focusing on our daily habits. Listen, even the absolute best ingredients are useless if they're paired with the wrong daily habits. I want you to treat these 3 steps like a daily non-negotiable checklist. Step 1, prioritize steaming or boiling your food rather than deep frying. This keeps dangerous cholesterol completely out of the picture. Step 2, chew thoroughly and slowly. The more work the teeth do, the less work the stomach has to do. Step 3, instead of eating 3 massive, heavy meals, divide the food into multiple, smaller meals throughout the day. This dramatically reduces the burden on that delicate, shrunken digestive tract. And honestly, this might just be the most beautiful piece of medical advice you will hear today. Believe it or not, the absolute best digestive medicine doesn't come in a little plastic pill bottle. It's a joyful, warm, and lively family meal. The psychological joy and the deep comfort of eating surrounded by loved ones stimulates the digestive system and promotes nutrient absorption better than any expensive probiotic supplement ever could. Finally, we've arrived at section 5, practical application. Let's look at a real case study. Let's take all this fantastic theory and bring it right down to earth with a simple mathematical example. Meet our test case. We've got a 65-year-old woman. She's 1.60 meters tall and weighs 56 kilograms. This gives her a body mass index, or BMI, of 21.1, which is perfectly standard. She's healthy, has 0 underlying medical conditions, and maintains a totally normal, everyday level of activity. So, based on everything we've learned, how much should she actually be eating? Using the medical formula provided by Thin Food General Hospital, it's actually quite simple. We take her weight of 56 kilos and multiply it by 30. That gives us exactly 1,680 calories per day. This number right here is her magic threshold. It's the absolute perfect daily caloric intake to maintain her current health, give her the energy she needs to stay active, all while ensuring she doesn't gain unnecessary, dangerous fat. So, how do we divide up that 1,680 calorie orchestra? Well, the golden medical ratio looks like this. Carbohydrates, and remember we mean the slow carbs we discussed earlier, should make up the bulk at 45 to 65%. Fats must be carefully controlled, sitting tightly between 20 and 25%. And finally, proteins from lean meats, fish, eggs, and dairy make up the remaining 13 to 25%. Balancing these percentages perfectly is what builds a literal fortress around the body, protecting it from metabolic disorders and physical decline. Well, we have gone on quite a journey today, haven't we? We've decoded the aging hardware, we optimized the brand new fuel formula, and we looked at exactly how to apply it in the real world. Now that you hold this critical medical knowledge, I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Considering the completely natural physiological changes of aging, what specific change will you make in your family's kitchen tomorrow? How will you adapt your very next meal to ensure the ones you love are aging not just gracefully, but with absolute vitality? Take these insights into your kitchen, and here's to meals filled with joy and abundant health. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.